Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Mujiji ki
Jai.
Welcome. If there's some questions, we can look at them.
Father, may I ask a question?
Yes.
Thank you for that beautiful interaction yesterday. That was beautiful. In a funny way, or in a synchronistic way, Jesh posted a quote of yours yesterday, which said, "Only that exists on which there is attention." And stunning quote, but the not just a thought, but the feeling that came up for me is, okay, what is attention? You said only that exists on which there's attention. And then the next point of inquiry is, what is this extraordinary quality of attention? And I remembered a quote that Rupert Spira mentioned, and it was stunning also. And I wanted you to comment on it. He said that attention is awareness when turned towards an object. Attention is awareness turning towards an object. And the next feeling that came up is, that's amazing, but then what is attention when it turns upon itself? What is awareness when it turns upon itself? And I wanted to just drop that into the field, and whatever you would like to respond would be amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. First, to clarify the first quote, only that exists that has your attention. So clearly here we are speaking about our phenomenal experience. Can we say that there is a road outside this room? Not conclusively, only because we might hear some sound from the road. So because attention is on that, we can say that there is something there. The rest is just a presumption. So in that way, the first quote is meant that only that exists in this phenomenal play that seems to have our attention. So then, what is attention? And this quote is also very nice. What Rupert said, from what I understood, you said that attention is nothing but awareness turned towards an object. So fundamentally, what we are doing is we are exploring the nature of this attention. Now, many times the clue for you is that the self is without qualities and attributes. The self is without, the real self, the greater self is without qualities and attributes. Now, in our phenomenal play, there is one you can say thing, because it's not really a thing. One thing that comes close to this, which is attention. Because I say, what is the color of your attention? You cannot say. And yet, it is not the self. It is an aspect of the self. Why? Because awareness is so beyond this limitation of any sort, whereas attention is not. See? So if all of us were to unmute our mic and to start speaking, you would not have the attention to hear everyone. See? That's why parents with many children, they are very tired, because all the children are asking for their attention all the time. Now, if you are interacting and then you start interacting and you start interacting, then we cannot give this quantity, unlimited uh, type of attention. You see that attention runs out very quickly, but we can never say that about awareness. Okay? So the real distinction between the self-awareness and attention is that attention is like the phenomenal play of awareness. Everything is, but very, very intimate phenomenal play of awareness is this attention, because you cannot find any quality to attention except that it seems to run out. You see, you can never run out of awareness, but you can run out of attention. So, so yes, when it is turned towards an object, yes, it's a nice way of explaining. It's not bad. Uh, it's a funny play whether actually attention actually turns, or whether it is the object on the screen which changes. So this is a nice contemplation for us. So what we can really say is that attention doesn't seem to play in a unlimited way in this phenomenal play, and only that can be perceived. You cannot perceive without attention. Perception works in coordination with attention. It's like being uses attention to taste this phenomenal world, to taste the phenomenal function. That's where all these primal contemplations come from, isn't it? What is that one famous one? The tree falls in the forest. Is it? Does it make a sound? Nobody else in the forest, but a tree falls. Does it make a sound? Also, scientific experiments like Schrodinger's cat. Is it? The cat is in the box. There is no observer of it. Is there now a cat, or isn't there? So all of this is an experiment about this. What is the observing quality in this phenomenal realm? The power of perceiving operates on this power of attention. So this is attention. Now, how far can attention go? So we can bring attention to the outer seeming world. We can give attention to the body sensations. We can bring attention to these inner seeming perceptions like thoughts, memories, imagination. Attention can go, and then we can say, ultimately, keep your attention on your being. Rest with the sense of being. Even this we can say, yes, I am keeping my attention on my presence. And some might say that it's natural for it to rest there. Some might say it seems like a force. But it is still part of the objective play, ultimately. Now, when you say, what is prior to this being? What is aware of even this beingness? Can we truly say that it is attention? Although in words sometimes you might say it, but can we truly say that it is attention which is going prior to being? Actually, it is like the cessation of the functioning of attention. It's like this spring is completely pulled back. The spring was stopping at all of these different levels, and then we say, okay, what is prior to even existence, then this self-discovery, awareness, is just self-aware. That is not subject to attention. It is just that attention is divested from everything else. So it can feel like attention came here. But in the realm of the pure self, you see, there is not even attention. So being uses attention to come to this discovery, I am that I am. But as being is coming to the recognition of its own source, even the play of attention stops there. So although we can say in Satsang, turn your attention completely inwards to that which is prior to your existence, but actually you will find that it is a pointing to divest your attention from everything else. And there, as you're coming to the non-phenomenal recognition, you will not find the play of even this quality called attention. It is part of the functioning of the self in its dynamic aspect, which is being, and being works in coordination with attention to perceive, to taste this phenomenal existence of itself. And I know that some of these things are very subtle, they might, for the mind, they're completely abstract. But as you're tasting all of this for yourself, then you see that, yes, when the discovery is made of the source of even beingness, where being comes from, my attention does not go beyond my being, but as it is divested from everything else, I find that the recognition of this absolute is empty of all qualities, even something which is such a transparent quality like attention is not there. Jhanti says something beautiful. She's saying, here it would seem that perception is the floodlight and attention is the spotlight of awareness, where more focus is put on the object of perception. When this is turned back on itself, then all other objects no longer exist and self alone exists. Just coming here as an analogy. Very beautiful. So you see that, yes, when we go beyond being, then this play of even attention is not like in the deep sleep state, we are not paying attention to the nothing, only that nothing self is there. In fact, this experiments with attention are very beautiful. And as you start noticing the quality of attention, you will see that as sleep is coming, and you see that that with which a lot of attention could have been given to a book or to a movie or something like that. But when sleep is coming, you find that you don't have that attention to give to it anymore. It seems like it is just withdrawing from the seeming outward phenomena and just going to rest within. You see? So as this objective reality is vanishing, you see that is that attention which is actually withdrawing. That is why it is vanishing. So like you said, when this spotlight is there, it seems to always shine on something objective. And when the spotlight seems to run out of battery, seem to run out of power, then objective, uh, the world of objective appearances seems to vanish, it seems to dissolve. The sound is a little dull today. Maybe I'm speaking more softly. Is that it? Or let's just check the settings.
It's
The
like
mic.
you're in a hall or something like that.
It's using the wrong mic. One second, let me just change. How is it now?
A lot better, thank you.
This is the one. Yeah, okay. The more technology you add, the more confusing it becomes. So you don't know which mic to select, which things to do. And she says, Father, I cannot concentrate on your words. I just want to drop away. Very good. Nancy. Well, actually, the point of these words is this dropping away. You want to share something about this? If your mic works.
Does it work?
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know. Today I just don't want to hear it. It's just blah 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 blah.
Yeah. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Sometimes it can just be just just words. Some days I say that when it is like that, just don't worry about decoding any of the words. Don't worry about understanding them. Just let them play like music in a way. Because
Because I
otherwise,
can't. I'm sorry, because my mind wants to grasp onto these words and try to figure out what you're trying to say about it, and the rest of me just wants to go shoot. I don't want to hear it.
yes,
Just not today. Not right now. And it's bringing up like emotions too, like I want to cry. But it's just a sense of feeling, and I don't even have a name for it.
So it might not sound like good news to you right now, but for me it is very good news. Because there must come a point where this trying to understand it mentally, it drops away. It becomes so tiring and frustrating because it is so beyond the mind.
Yes.
You're bound to throw a tantrum, irritation is bound to come, just like enough,
Yes.
enough. I can't
I
do
even,
this.
I say, the hell with enlightenment. I don't want to, I'm done.
Yes, 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 yes. And this is a very, very beautiful point to get to. And although I can't recall recently it happening, but actually many times I've been shouted at in satsang, like, just stop, stop. This is not making any sense. I cannot get this anymore.
Right.
You see, and I've been told, so what? I'm aware of awareness. So what now? Enough now. What is it? What else you
Right.
want?
What's the point?
What's the point? What are we doing? What am I getting? What?
Right. So what?
So what? Yes. 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 This one is giving up. You can throw these items, and when you're no longer trying to understand what the words mean, funnily enough, we come to this pure insight. So far, it might have felt for the mind as if it is collaborating with you on this project. But ultimately, it can come to this point and say, really, what is all this? What is going on? What is the point of all this? Am I really getting something in hearing all this? Really, all this can be the frustration of the mind.
And then I see that it's the mind, and I move away from that, I guess. I don't know if I exactly do. I guess I'm transitional.
Yes, yes, yes. This is because at least this much distance, because already in your entire report you have said it is the mind which is saying this. Although there is some mixing happening between the concept of I and the mind, it is not. It's not that you're completely saying I am getting frustrated. I am saying what is the point? It's still some distance is there where the mind is. You can see that the mind is going wow, 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 wow. You know what is going on like this, and there is something prior to the mind, something more primal than the mind. You see, which I can say something about, which will irritate the mind even more, which is that is not frustrated. The one that is watching the mind, the one that witnesses the mind, is not irritated. Is not saying where is this going? What is the point of this? It's just words and words and more words. That one remains untouched.
Yes.
Now the mind doesn't want to hear that. It's saying, "Mommy, I'm throwing the tantrum. Give your attention to me right now." You see, it doesn't want to hear anything about that which is prior to it. I have two children. When the younger one is throwing the tantrum, and if I turn to the older brother and give him some attention, she will not like it at all. Like, it's my time now. I am throwing the tantrum. I deserve your full attention. So it is the mind which is playing with this big brother, demanding your attention completely.
Do you ever see those blow up? They're people that a lot of car dealerships put in front of their businesses. They're blow up people, and they go like this, and the wind, and they come up with the wind, and that's what, like, sometimes I think of how the person is. It comes up and then it swirls around and then it goes down again, and And now
Yes.
sometimes I look at that and like, especially with thought, that I laugh at it like, you're just a blow up figure, you're nothing.
Yes. This is a very nice one. I might steal this one from you and use it in satsang. That's right. See, that is it. The unsteady person is like that. One time this way, one time this way, one time finding the words of satsang to be so full of beauty and bliss. Next time, same words in satsang can seem like such torture. You see, this unsteady ideas, concepts is what the person is, the non-existent person is seemingly made up of. Just like that. So I like very much if you're feeling like that, you see, you can come up like that and say, today I'm just not hearing you. It's just like something doesn't want to hear. It is saying, enough now, you've been coming every day and it's the same stuff. It's throwing that baby tantrum. And, uh, but you do know that this too shall pass.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a question. Awareness is formless. Then how is it that some beings have such a powerful presence? Bhagwan's beautiful eyes are so absorbing. Yes. Now, awareness is the same. Bhagwan and all of us are one. As what? As that formless self. Now, in the design of the play of form, in the design of the dynamic aspect of the self, we find that those who are empty of, okay, so let me go slowly so this is clear. So awareness, which is I, is formless. The reality, the formless self, qualityless, attributeless, this is I. Now that which we call the dynamic aspect is I playing as I am, being. Is it? It is only in being then we can even use the word presence. Like in deep sleep state, in dreamless sleep, there is no such thing even as presence. Now, I am is the primal presence, the primordial vibration, being. Now, in the design of this world, in the design of this play, what you find is that those who are not attaching anything to I am is not filled with an attribute. I am something. This is what Guruji would say, unassociated presence or pure beingness. Now, when we come across such beings in this phenomenal world, we find that this unassociated presence is deeply attractive to those who are longing for the same thing. Those who are longing for the same truth, that presence is deeply attractive. For those who are not interested in it yet, for them it is nothing. So that is how it plays. If there is a longing in our heart for the truth, then as we look into Bhagwan's eyes, we see this unbound being, unlimited presence. This is what happened when I saw my master for the first time, when I saw Guruji. I saw the one presence, one being. And yet, so many are there in Tiruvannamalai who maybe born there, who lived there all their life. And I always find it very funny that we come from Bangalore sometimes and we are so reverential in front of Arunachala, and we're feeling so much presence in Arunachala, and they're just walking about, looking at us, looking at the mountain, saying, "What's going on with these people?" You see? So, because the heart is not yet longing for this, for them it can just be a mountain. Bhagwan can just be another person, another good person in many people's eyes. But once our longing in our heart changes from phenomenal things to the truth of the self, then that which can point us to that which appears in our phenomenal play that points us to that presence seems very attractive to us. Many times it has happened, isn't it, that we have brought friends and family to satsang, and in the same satsang you have felt, oh, it was so beautiful to be in Ananta's presence, Father's presence is so nice, and you go talk to your friends or family that came with you in satsang, they were like, "What happened? I didn't feel anything. He's a nice guy, but nothing more than that." You see? So it depends on what our heart is longing for. Thank you, my dear. Teja says that longing is also your grace. In fact, that is the bigger definition of grace. Everything is grace.
Father, may I ask a question?
Yes, yes, my dear. Come.
Can you talk about desire? Because to me, desire is what is before everything, even before love. I mean, out of just the eye, the undifferentiated eye, unless there's desire, things don't rise into creation or into form. I'm talking of desire from at that point. But I would love to hear, like,
Yeah. I'm happy you are contemplating this topic. You see? Because many times when we talk about why the world was created, you see, and then the options that we come up with, and even I say in satsang sometimes, there must have been an urge within the self or a desire within ourselves to experience ourselves experientially, phenomenally, with qualities. And that's why this creation is born. You see? But the fact is that even these words in satsang do not stand up to inquiry. Because what we discover for ourselves is that this self is so far beyond the concept of urge or desire that we can use this answer just as an explanation to remove the question, but never feeling like it is true in any way. Many times we're using these thorns just to remove the thorns and throw the thorns away. You see? Now, why did this sense I am come? Why did the creation of the world happen? There is no answer to that. It is completely unexplained. There are many good answers that we can give, and all have this feeling of urge or desire at the basis of them. So you can say that wanted to experience itself as a phenomenal quality. That's why I am came. Or we can say the only way that we can taste this love, presence, being is if I exist in this way. That's why the self made this, self existed, or self made this world. Or we can say that self wants to go on this journey of evolution and consciousness is evolving. All these kind of answers. My favorite answer, of course, now you've been in satsang for a few days, so you know. My favorite answer is that the self was bored. So this is a play. The Leela basically means what? Why would the self or the absolute want to create a Leela? You see, just to entertain itself. You see, I know that I know that it might not sound as glorious as some of the other answers, like wanting to taste love or wanting to experience itself, but at least you can say that yes, I'm all there is. I have no quality. So there's a sense of just let's have some fun or something like that. Rather than saying, oh, I felt an urge in my heart that I wanted to, exist or something like that. None of these answers are true. Even the Leela answer is not true. But they're just answers which are used. So all of you are mature enough. I give you this bouquet of answers, and you say, okay, I say whichever appeals to your heart the most, you can pick that one. But know that ultimately, finally, we will come to this answer, which is that none of this has ever really happened. All those answers are on the basis of all of this happening. And I know it can seem contradictory that I can say that none of this ever happened only within this itself. But this will come as a final knockout punch in some way. That none of this has ever really happened. So the question about whether there was a primal urge within the self to create this existent being within which this play is happening itself is invalid because nothing is. Vidya says, she's a very valid point. She says, Leela works fine with most things. But when really horrendous things happen, this doesn't make sense. Yes, I know what you mean. Nothing ever happened is far more appealing. Yes. Now, another answer for this unanswerable question that I have for you for this horrendous and glorious things both happening is that when everything, the source of everything manifests, then it must manifest as everything. All qualities must be there. That's why I use that example of when white is broken up into all the colors, the entire spectrum is available. So it is everything which is manifesting, and everything is not judging various aspects of itself and saying, okay, you don't manifest, only you manifest.
Radha, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we lost you for some time. Can you repeat it? For
Yes,
some
yes.
time, I couldn't hear you at all.
I see. Something seems to be wrong with the internet today. I was just saying that I have an answer for even this unanswerable question, which is why do these opposites seem to appear in this world? Why couldn't everyone we meet be a super nice person? In fact, why can't everyone be a sage? Is it? Why is this world full of all these opposite qualities? Why? So, in this nature of this world, it is a world of duality. Why duality? Because it contains the entire spectrum. So, when everything is manifesting itself, then it must show up as everything. We make a demand from the world that the world must consist only of nice people. But then that would be only a part manifestation of everything, isn't it? So that which is all inclusive, then appearing as being, appearing as the universe, must then have all qualities also appear. That is why in this world it can never be that only one aspect of the spectrum appears. And in the play also it is said, you see, Krishna has said that when one side of the spectrum takes over the balance, then I appear and I sort out the balance again. So this balance is forever maintained. So the spectrum is as the spectrum. So it doesn't have to be that Krishna has to appear as Krishna, as an avatar, to make the balance happen. The deeper meaning in that is that it is consciousness itself, which is projecting this movie with the full spectrum of experiences. See? But I completely understand when you say that the Leela seems, when it's a comedy, I'm very open to saying it's a Leela. But when it's a tragedy, it's not so easy. And yet, one of the most famous plays in the world is Romeo and Juliet. Why do people enjoy seeing it? Because they want to experience that sorrow, that tragic end. Say, oh no, such a sad thing. Is it? Why? Because we also get tired of the same taste. You see? That contrast is what makes the taste seem to come alive. Only sweet, 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 sweet is no big deal. Means a bit of salty and sweet seems sweet again. So, so from the perspective of the Leela, then you will see how is it that even humans seem to entertain themselves. Don't we see this entire spectrum of entertainment of all sorts? You see? When I was younger, my father moved to this Middle Eastern country called Bahrain. So we all went with him. And in Bahrain, for the first time in Bahrain TV, I saw this wrestling. You know, this synchronized, choreographed wrestling. And I used to love it as a kid. And now you wonder, what? You watching these people beat themselves up. You see, what kind of entertainment is that? You see, but as kids, we were hooked on it. And all my friends in school were hooked on it. Did you see Hulk Hogan beat up Randy Savage and all these things? We used to watch all this stuff. We used to like watching all this stuff. So it is consciousness entertaining itself with all of these tastes. Even those children who are watching wrestling is what? Is consciousness tasting itself in all of its manifest ways. I know sometimes it can sound like too tough, too bitter a pill to swallow, especially when we talk of things like violence and murder. So that's why truly, actually, there is no real explanation for the cause or creation of this world or why the world seems to function in a certain way. It is no, we expect some individual meaning from all of this, but there is none. Now, the good news is that we are not individuals, because this would be very bad news if we were individuals, that the world has no meaning. But once you see that you are beyond individuality, then you don't become nihilistic in that way. Shweta asked, Guruji somehow realized, I somehow realized, not sure if through self-inquiry or intellectually or experientially, in that split moment, that the witness and the one that identifies is also not two. It is just one. And it's not me. It's just this moment. And it's not me. It's just simply this moment. It unfolds as just this moment, sometimes through the body too, though, but usually at just this moment. Even the feelings, thoughts, etc., are not ours. They just are. Just the witnesses get caught up in them and creates a me and my feelings. Is that true? Very, very beautiful realization. Now, yes, it is not you, but also it is not anybody else, or not you also. So if I were to say, for example, that you did not have this split second experience, you say, but I did. I had the experience of no me there. So actually what you're discovering, and I want to point this out to you clearly, is because this might also become a mind trap, you see. So you have to listen a little carefully here. You saw that there is no me. You had this moment of insight. This you that saw it was not subject to time. This you is beyond time and space. There is no me there individually. There is no bound me. And yet it is undeniable that you had this insight. No person did, no object did, but you did. And because we have gone for so long calling ourselves an object, calling ourselves a thing, that is why when you're coming to this self, you see, that is why it is called self-realization. If it is it is not called you do not come to a recognition of another, even greater than the recognition of consciousness is the recognition of the self, which is ultimately the same thing, of course. So you are realizing your true nature, which is not objective. So in this moment you saw that there is just this moment, just this moment. Now this moment rests on your existence. There can be no moment unless you are. This you is what the inquiry is for. Otherwise what will happen is, and it has happened to even those who have been very close to me in Satsang, who had authentic moments of awakening, but they can get into this sort of trap, which can feel like all there is the phenomenal content of this moment. It is not that. Because the phenomenal content of this moment is also coming and going. Therefore, from the definition of the sages, that which comes and goes is not real. What can we say about that which witnesses the content of this moment? So this that is appearing is just appearing as an appearance, as a snake, where there is actually none. But that which is the witness of all things, that which witnesses the coming and going of appearances, is not a thing. Then you say, but what I meant was that this me is also perhaps everything else around me. Yes, yes. This is very beautiful. Me is you, me is her, me is it, me is everything, isn't it? So this me is your recognition of your existence, your consciousness, your being, which you are finding that actually no separation has happened unless you label something as separate, unless you put a concept to it. Your experience has never been that of separation. Everything has always been you. All of this is about you, just not you personally. So, me is you, me is her, me is it, me is everything. Yes, yes. And much more than that. Higher than even that, everything is also you. In fact, that is the greater you. But this already is such a beautiful discovery. Music to my ears. All is you. All is me. We are one in this way. Great. You say, but then realization also comes and goes. Yes, 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 yes. Even the play of delusion and realization is also part of the play of appearances. So, just like this, as delusion has come, I am separate, I am just Ananta or I am just Shweta. You see, this idea, delusion, and recognition, all is me. And ultimately, I am that which is beyond all of this also. I am the witness of that, and everything is me. You see, that recognition, realization. None of this is happening for the self, only for the dynamic aspect of itself, also in the play of appearances. Now, what you will find in the play is that mostly those who have come to the recognition of this truth and then not picked up ideas of specialness about themselves seem to be, at least in that lifetime, seem to be quite steady in that recognition. Although momentarily things will come in every life, which will shake even the sage out of, uh, shake, shake the sage into a belief in their personhood for a few moments. But more or less, overall, you can say that those who have avoided the traps of the spiritual ego for some time allowed this recognition to settle, then their lives pass mostly without suffering. And yet, whether consciousness wants to play again as somebody completely deluded, it's completely fine. I'm a bit radical, and I know some traditionalists might get upset with me when I say like this, but it's also another fallacy that we have, saying that those who are spiritual are at the final point in their journey, evolution, or something like that. I feel like just spiritual feel good stuff. Is it? Maybe we are just starting out. Everybody else has the muscles to deal with the world as if they are people. But us, we couldn't even handle the world for a little bit, so we escaped to, the truths. So we're just starting out with, it's very popular to say that those who are coming to the self-recognition are the 100th step of the temple. Everybody else is climbing behind them. We don't know any of these things. Maybe this is the prep class, kindergarten. So let's not have any fancy ideas about ourselves. We are just in the simple coming to this recognition. Now, how consciousness wants to play tomorrow, even here in the life of Ananta, I cannot give you a guarantee. Tomorrow, I might come to Satsang and you might find me fully identified with every worldly phenomena. I have no guarantees like that. But I can only say that it is this in the last 7-8 years since I met my master, the shakiness of this person, like this blow up person that Nancy was talking about, that has not been the experience. Yes. Yes. You said anything that comes and goes is not true, but realization also comes and goes. Yes. So how do we know it is true? No, no, it is not. That which is being recognized is the truth. The play of delusion and realization is not the truth. Is it? The recognition of that which is unchanging, that which is being recognized over there, is the truth. That is the self. The one playing as the one deluded, egoistic, and then playing as if they have come to a recognition of themselves, that one is just part of, in the same realm of appearance, part of the Leela. That is an important distinction. There is no true appearance. If you're using that definition of reality, appearance and reality are mutually exclusive. So if someone is appearing to be realized, that is not the truth, not the ultimate truth. What they are pointing to or what their recognition has been is the truth. Truth with capital T. Got it? Good, good, good. Idea, good. Good.
On that point, can I just mention that it was recently seen that there was some sort of subtle expectation or desire to be an enlightened being.
Yeah.
And then it was seen that who I truly am is just so much greater than
Exactly. Any enlightened person.
absolutely. So it's so beyond
So,
that even believing yourself to be an enlightened being would be a severe,
yes,
huge
underselling.
limitation
Yes.
or restriction
Yes.
on the greatness of what you truly are.
Yes, very good. You see, we feel like, especially because many of us have been spiritual seekers for a long time or playing as spiritual seekers for a long time, you can feel like the end goal of that is to become an enlightened person. And then you can feel like, I had the recognition, now I must be an enlightened person. But even that is a underselling of what you are. You are that whose arm, whose dynamic aspect is consciousness itself. How can an aspect of consciousness, no matter how shiny that aspect of consciousness might be you? It can never be the complete you. It can never be the totality of you. What you are discovering. In the discovery that I am no thing, I discover that I am so much beyond all things. That is why I say don't have a mental concept of this nothing. If you have a mental concept of the nothing, then compared to nothing, an enlightened person is much better. But when you taste the nothingness of the self, no flavor of person can compare to your magnificence. Shanti says, what does your t-shirt say, Father? My t-shirt says life, the universe, and everything. It is a book by Douglas Adams. He was one of my favorite authors again growing up, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Shanti says, it's nice to get the background story of your life. So regular, yes. Even the present story of this life hopefully seems quite regular to all of you. Nitya says, you are looking at the camera already like a professional, is it? Professional. Okay. I got a bit used to it. Although it's a bit strange because when I have to look at all of you, I have to turn towards the computer. And then when I have to look at you that way in your eyes, then I have to look at the camera. So sometimes you'll see me going. Okay, I feel good to stop here today. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Murji Ji ki
Jai. Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.